Tata, and welcome to the TNAIW GoGo Power Rankings show. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First, to my right, he's a fifth rascal, 1/3 of the tag team champions. He literally has no relation to Steve Macklin. He's the star of the show no matter what show he's on. Give it up for the one and only Burt Macklin.
I'm no longer part of the Macklins, even though that is my last name. I'm heavily in the Rascal camp.
Look, I didn't believe you when you were denying the fact that was your family, and I don't believe you when you saying you leaving the family. I just don't believe you.
Why you gotta hate on me, dude?
You know why you don't? You know why I don't believe you? Because you put the Burt in Sherbert. That's why.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for remembering that.
I always forget that. I gotta remember that. You should see the list of Bert's nicknames. Like his introduction is like the longest one.
That's not true.
It's in his contract.
People wait every week to hear Lucha's nicknames.
And to my left, he is the godfather of the Power Rankings, the DNA of L3 and A. He puts the Lucha and Luchasaurus, the Lucha and Lucha Underground, the brother and Lucha Brothers. He's Lucha.
Here.
Alrighty.
Those are like those are like medals, basically like what Christopher Daniels used to wear to the ring. Lucha's a podcast general.
I'm the ranking general.
The ranking general, yeah.
He certainly is. Alrighty, well, this is the week before the Go Home show to Bound for Glory. And it was quite the interesting week. Frankie Kazarian and Eddie Edwards main evented. Burt called it Dirty Dango. So.
Wait, what did I say?
Didn't you say Dirty Dango was going to win?
I don't remember saying that, but don't get me started on that match. That ending was just shit. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say about that. I don't care that Dango won. I just don't like. We'll get to it more.
Yes. So,
but my question though is, did that one win give Dango enough momentum to leapfrog 68% of the roster and make his way to the Power Rankings?
Maybe on this show, just because that match was a big chunk of the show and a big chunk of the roster was in that match. So, you start putting together in your head, I could easily find a spot for him. I know I didn't vote for him, though. Again, I wasn't going to vote for the winner of that match just because I didn't like it. It just was like, what?
Breaking news. Let me just confirm with my sources.
Because don't get me wrong, I'm a Dango guy, by the way, right now.
I have confirmed with my sources. Breaking news. I voted for Dango this week.
If I remember, it wasn't very high. It was respectable of like how you phrase, like, what is it good enough? Is he good enough to leapfrog? What did you vote for him? 7th?
I will wait until I see the official ranking before I disclose where I put this man.
Good call. So who else are we expecting to see on this week's Power Rankings? I definitely want to see Frankie Kazarian. Very curious to see where he lands. Main evented and defeated Eddie Edwards in a 2 out of 3 falls match. So,
look at, other than our champions, who I always try to include because there are champions for a reason. They're carrying gold. What more could Frankie Kazarian could have done to get on this top 10? He literally was bleeding like from the chest. Like it looked like from chops. I don't think I've ever seen that. And he won a grueling match. So it's like, I think he does deserve to be on this top 10. The question becomes where, though? That's my question for Lucha. Lucha, do you think that he deserves to be ahead of the world champion? Or, well, I'll say the best unit in Impact, the Motor City Machine Guns. Do you think he deserves to be ahead of them?
No.
Love how Lucha just... I agree, by the way.
All confidently said no.
Because you know who I think is number one. I went with the Rascals number one this week.
Of course you would.
No, it's not. I think that was a great match, and I just think that as a team keeps defending, that earns more too. Just because it's almost like when a team can stay number one, it's like what did Kenny King say? When you're on top, a lot of people are trying to come after you. You know what I mean? So like the more that the Rascals defend those titles, you know what I mean, the more they're gonna. The Machine Guns, again, that's why I put them number two, because how long you got a 10-time champion? Well, Alex Shelley's been champ for at least it's got to be at least 5 months at this time. You know, dominance deserves to be rewarded on the top 10 for me. So
I'm in 100% agreement with you, brother.
With that being said, let's play his power rankings.
It's ranking time.
Number 10, Allen Angels. Number 9, Tag Team Champions MK Ultra. Number 8, Kylan King. Number 7, Dirty Dango. Number 6, World Champion Trinity. Number 5, Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz. Number 4, Eddie Edwards. Number 3, Motor City Machine Guns. Number 2, Tag Team Champions The Rascals. Number 1, Frankie Kazarian.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. No, I shouldn't say that. I don't hate it. For 90% of it, I'm okay with it. Not like position where I'm just saying I'm okay with it.
I am so surprised by this.
I might get mad though. I might change my mind though. Lucha, what do you think? Tell me.
Can we start with Frankie in one?
Let's start right. This week's number 1, Frankie Kazarian. Like I said earlier, main evented Impact and got a big win over Eddie Edwards.
Okay. Here's why I'm not mad, and I'm actually okay with Frankie at number 1. And I'm sure this is a stance that I didn't think people were going to expect out of me, Mr. Motor City Marco. Frankie, in the simplest way I can put it, Frankie got 2 wins in one night.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true.
And I feel like regardless if Frankie or Eddie won, they would have been number 1.
Agreed.
Because they got 2 wins. That's why Eddie, although Eddie's a little high for my taste, and we'll get in, you know what I'm saying, we'll break that down. But Eddie got a win. He got a win over a strong Frankie Kazarian. So if you want to break it down that way, you know, devil's advocate a little bit, that's why I'm fine with it. Because my man got 2 wins in one night.
And just to add to it, Eddie Edwards, his win was by pinfall. Frankie Kazarian's, his wins were by submission and last man standing. So he definitely earned that number 1 spot. He put in the work.
So not only did my man get his face back from the pin, he also got his one up in the being the last man standing. If that ain't number 1 behavior, I don't know what is.
I think that, remember like back in the day, like when there was a pay-per-view the Sunday before, and on the Raw or Nitro, they would just show you still shots of the match because they would want you to buy there were so many still shots in this match. You know what I mean? That this match was very like, and people were talking about it. This Frankie Kazarian versus Eddie Edwards, like it was a very good match, and so yeah, he got 2 wins. He literally like bled, like, you know, what more could he do? You know what I mean? And like I like him, and I like him getting number 1 because I don't, other than like having like an off week again where the champions are on the show, I don't see Frankie Kazarian. It's really hard for him. I don't think he would ever be number 1 again. So he earned that number 1 this week. So
no, I agree with everything you said, Burt. I don't think he might be number 1 again. So I think he definitely deserves to be number 1 this week. So I was surprised Alan Angels came in at number 10. I don't think he had a match. Did anybody watch BTI? I don't think he had a match, right?
he had a match on BTI, and it does count.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It should. No. I'm saying, let's give BTI some love. Okay.
Who did he face on BTI?
I believe he faced Laredo Kid.
Oh,
I don't want to look at my phone, but.
And you know, Burt, we should trust you on that because you, Mr. BTI, Burt the Intelligent.
Okay, I like. Okay.
Another nickname to add for Burt.
Mr. BTI, Burt the Intelligent.
And Alan Angels is on the rise. You know, he's a future X Division champion. You know what I mean? Just another long list of wrestlers who have really come to Impact and kind of shine. So number 10's deserved this week.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. Alan Angels has been doing amazing with what he's been given so far. Lucha?
I like that Alan Angels, you know what I'm saying, is at number 10. I like that the committee has been giving a lot of love to BTI cats recently, like getting these wins. They'll normally end up in like a 10-9-8 spot a lot of the time. It's just a little sad that like a lot of the times that they won't like have any momentum to ride through and maybe have them rise through the ranks. Like, it'll be dope to see a cat come from BTI, from the bowels of BTI to the fucking top 2 on the power rankings within like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of success story I'm here for. But I'm cool with Alan Angels being where he's at the 10, sliding in here. It was a lot of, at least for me personally, the 10-9 spot was a bit tough because like I was just struggling with Jordan Grace and Jake something. Because yeah, Jake didn't win. Yeah, Jake ate the pin. But it's like Jake fought his ass off. He put on a damn show, and he showed that he was like top 10 material. So that little spot up top was a little hectic for me personally.
You know, I'm surprised Jordan Grace didn't make the top 10. I mean, her spot in that 5-way match with Champagne Singh and Dango, I thought that was a pretty cool spot. So let's talk about numbers 9, Tag Team Champions MK Ultra. Number 5, Deonna Purrazzo and Tasha Steelz. And number 6, World Champion Trinity.
No, yeah. I think we need to throw in number 8 too.
Yeah, 8. And Kylie King.
This is all very, very interesting, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
You know the most important. You know the most interesting part of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Another week without number 1 contender Mickie James. There's so many knockouts that have so much like crazy momentum, you know, where we stand now, and none of them are Mickie James. I mean, Tasha Steelz wrestling in back-to-back weeks, which is crazy to me. Getting back-to-back dubs, further helping her and Deonna's spot within the power rankings going into their title match. So like let's say they do get the win. You would have to like actually sit me down and give me valid reasons why I shouldn't vote them number 1 if they were to beat MK Ultra for the tag titles. Yeah, I said it. You heard it here first. In the same breath, with all this momentum that Deonna and Tasha have been getting, thanks to Tasha, MK Ultra getting the win over them has got to catapult them in the top 5 status because they beat one of the hottest things going, not only in the knockouts division, but in the company, period. So, and then you got Kylan King over here who pretty much said, it's my time, I'm here. So now, on the other side of Bound for Glory, whoever you got on who's waiting for someone, you got her. So it's like knockouts division looking a little stacked. And then Jordan Grace, who I'm sure was one of the honorable mentions, she was there too. And again, who's not there? Mickie James, which kind of has me up in the air on who's actually going to win at Bound for Glory. Because Mickie James, with no momentum and strictly being here because this is her contractually obligated rematch for the belt she never lost, that might be enough. Because it's Mickie. You can't sleep on Mickie, which is what I've been trying to tell Trinity for the longest. You can't sleep on the fact that Mickie has no momentum.
So Jordan Grace actually tied with Crazy Steve for number 11 on the power rankings.
Well, let me just say, if you look at the 4, I think it's perfect just in terms of we're kind of ranking who has like the most, who's like the most momentum, who's the most hot right now in terms of like story wise. You know what I mean? It's interesting. MK Ultra being last just because they really haven't been on TV. I think they've taken some single losses. You know what I mean? I think Kylan King's the most interesting one just because I think her promo just, again, like to add to what Lucha said, just kind of her establishing herself in the main event scene. Look out, basically admitting that she attacked Taylor Wilde. You know what I mean? And so, but, and then Deonna and Tasha being ahead, they're ahead of Trinity, but Trinity is 6. I think Deonna and Tasha just simply because Tasha's won 2 weeks in a row, but also I think that's the most interesting story going on in the Knockouts division. The possibility of Deonna and Tasha teaming up. That's a great team. No disrespect to MK Ultra, but I'm pretty sure Deonna and Tasha are winning the belts. I'd put the belts on them. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a great team. So yeah. So in terms of this week, I have no problem with where everyone's at position wise.
So looking at the points, Deonna and Tasha actually beat Trinity just by a single point. They got one more vote over Trinity.
So you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're living in a world where we got the number 1 contenders for the tag titles hotter than the world champ. That's crazy.
But again, I think it's because of what you said, though. Tasha just out there having on the show back-to-back weeks. Not against enhancement matches either, since she just returned. Who she beat? She beat who has she beat each week?
Didn't she beat Jessica with the K because she's sick?
Yeah. No, she beat Rose. She beat not Rose.
Yeah, she beat Courtney Rush this past week.
And I think she beat Savannah last week, right? Or no?
Is it Savannah or Giselle?
Okay. So yeah, Tasha out there. No, I think Tasha beat Killer Kelly her first week.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Like, there's a reason that Tasha and Deonna are this high. You know what I mean? Tasha out there like just getting wins for a team. You know what I mean? And it's not like, I think it's very impressive too because it's not like her and Deonna have each got a win. Tasha's got 2 wins. You know what I mean? 2 big wins.
And just to add to Lucha's point earlier, if Deonna and Tasha have a match, go home show, and they win, and then they win at Bound for Glory, how could you not argue for that against
That's
that?
number 1. That's number 1 behavior.
Does Deonna or Tasha have a match on the go home show?
I don't know. Let me check.
Because if Deanna faced one of them, we can wait for that same matches. But because this coming week, when you have 2 shows worth of material for the rankings, you know what I mean? There's a lot of possibilities because the idea if you can get 2 wins, maybe, that's huge.
Have we ever had Knockouts Tag Champions number 1?
No.
Let me just say, this week, I think, for me, I don't think there's any question who will be number 1 this week, just because, we'll save it, but that I could see that being a possibility, though. It could happen.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's talk about number 7, Dirty Dango, who, by some crook or nook, ended up getting the victory and will be entering the Kali Shot Gauntlet at number 20, with poor Jake Something entering at number 1. Lucha, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, as far as the stipulation that went into the match, if there's anyone who I feel like could go run the gauntlet, it would be Jake Something. I feel like he could, last everybody, fucking set elimination records, do the whole 9. Like, this could be a history making Call Your Shot gauntlet performance that we're about to witness here. Which is why I feel like on one end, he did kind of get robbed of being in the top 10. You want to talk about Alan Angels? Yeah, he got his BTI dub, but I mean, it wasn't what Jake Something did out there. Dango, in the most respectful way possible, should enjoy this time in the shine because, like we were saying with Frankie, we don't know if he's going to be like number 1 again or anything like that anytime soon after this week. The same could be said for Dango being in the 10 period, unless this man wins a belt.
Now, let me ask you something. If Jake Something enters number 1, runs the gauntlet and wins, would he make top 10 or top 5?
Okay, let's say that Jake Something goes from 1 to 20 and runs the gauntlet. Let's say Tasha and Deanna beat MK Ultra. Let's say the Rascals retain, and let's say both Machine Guns retain. Let's say Trinity retains. You know how many unique number 1 votes we're gonna have?
It's gonna be an interesting number 1.
It's that will probably be the most number 1s, the most unique number 1s, because you can't.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
See, I actually kind of think it's not that. I don't think it's going to be that difficult. I think if the machine, again, we're going to look at the matches for Impact. If the Machine Guns both retain, I don't see how they don't get a majority of the number 1 votes. You know what I'm saying?
If all of that happens, I can't tell you right now who my number 1 would be, because there's too many factors that would play into that decision.
Yeah, Lucha's right. Lucha proposes an interesting scenario. I mean, if all those people win, and they all have a right or a fair argument to be considered number 1. I mean, personally, I think Jake Something entering at number 1 and running the gauntlet would be an impressive feat.
If that ain't number 1 shit, I don't know what is.
Exactly. Burt, what do you think of Dirty Dango coming in at number 7?
The winner with and obviously with the stakes that were on the line in this match, yeah, him being number 7 is totally fine with me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Dirty Dango coming in at number 7 either. Like Lucha said, he should enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4, Eddie Edwards. Now, Lucha, you brought this up earlier. He did get one win in the 2 out of 3 falls match. He beat Frankie Kazarian by pinfall. And that landed him on the number 4 spot. Is he okay there? Should he have been higher, lower?
He should have been lower because ain't no way in hell that one win he got on Frankie Kazarian was worth more than the back-to-back wins Tasha's gotten for her squad, and more than Trinity being the freaking world champion. And Eddie was my best friend. Eddie, I love you. But they were nice to you this week in the committee office there. They were real nice to you, my guy. I would have had you 6. Honestly. Shout out to what you did. But that's just me.
So you would switch him with Trinity?
I would actually switch him with Deanna and Tasha.
Oh, okay. What about you, Burt?
You know, I don't have, usually when someone loses a match, there has to be a really strong case for him to make the top 10, and I think Eddie made a strong case to be, just because of the fact that he, if, and again, I know it's what it sounds like, he lost twice, but he did lose twice, but again, if he would have won, he would have had to win twice. It was a very, very intense match. So I don't have a problem. Maybe he could have been a little lower. Like he's at 4. Maybe I would have switched Eddie and Trinity. Did Lucha say that? Did you say that, Lucha?
No, he said Eddie and Deanna.
I would switch Eddie and Trinity, actually, to be honest with you. So, but it's, again, that was a very intense match, so I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, really good match. He did lose twice, but he won one. So, all right, Lucha, I'm sure you want to talk about this. The Motor City Machine Guns coming in at number 3.
It's right. Everything is right. Everything is fine. I'm cool with the Rascals being ahead of them. The Rascals have the edge of not only they were on the show, they wrestled, they won, and they defended the belts. Their opponents, as far as their quality, based on like strength of schedule, like their ranking history, you don't really have a lot of All Night Swan, in and out of the top 10. Like ABC's different. They're in and out, rather quickly. All Night Swan always seems to be like on the outside looking in. So they gotta win. They successfully defended the titles. That's really the biggest thing. They successfully defended the titles.
Even if there was some shenanigans involved.
When aren't there shenanigans involved with these rascally rascals? These wascally wascals.
And Burt just turned a blind eye to it.
Because fucking California Spectrum doesn't show.
That's funny.
Hey! I got Oh, that's right. I don't even have the AXS channel. See, I don't have Burt's cable package.
Okay.
Burt, your thoughts on Motor City Machine Guns coming in at number 3 and the Rascals just coming in ahead of them?
They got the win. They were on the show this week again. And also, too, like the Motor City Machine Guns, at this point, it's okay to take a break at being number 1. They'll be back on top next week.
We shall see, because like Lucha mentioned earlier, if all that he mentioned happens,
they will.
All right. Now for a segment I like to call Which Match Has the Biggest Implication on the Power Rankings next week. I swear that title just gets longer and longer each time.
The Bound for Glory edition. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bound for Glory.
We need some dramatic music for that.
Dun, dun,
so
dun.
Next week on Impact, we have Mike Bailey versus Samurai Del Sol, PCO and Rhino versus Moose and Myers, Trinity and Mickey James versus Giselle and Savannah, Kenny King versus Heath, and then we have a no DQ match, Black Taurus versus Crazy Steve. That's next week. And then on Bound for Glory, we have the World Championship match, Alex Shelley and Josh Alexander, the World Title match, Trinity versus Mickey, X Division match, Chris Sabin versus Kenta. We have the Impact Tag Team match, Rascals versus ABC. We have the Knockout Tag Team match, MK Ultra versus Deanna and Tasha. 4-way Monsters Ball, PCO, Moose, Macklin, and Rhino. And then we have the Call Your Shot Gauntlet.
I mean, of course, the world title match is going to be spicy, towards number one dominance. Both the male and knockouts, but in this particular case, the males, due to the fact that both parties involved are kind of on some sort of a momentum train coming into, versus Mickey, who is her first match since the Super Duper 5-on-5 Eras match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And that was like last month. Josh has fought multiple times since then. So, of course, that match is going to have big implications. And then also, by proxy, which brings me to a question that I got for you, Burt. So you got the machine guns. You're told one of them is winning, one of them is losing. Which one losing does their case at remaining or being number one the most damage? Like, can Sabin win and Shelly lose and they be okay?
Yeah, no. If Sabin loses, they could still probably be number one. Not if Shelly loses. They're not. Let me just say, when I'm looking at the matches on Impact that have the most implication, I'm going with the tag match with Trinity and Mickey because I expect them to win, and so whoever wins that match, they both have a win right there, and so the winner of the world title match has 2 wins, and the loser, has a win and a loss. So I expect them both to be on the top 10. And then
hold on, real quick. Question on that though. Would say Trinity wins the match, the tag match, she's the one who gets the pin. Would that be enough? Do you think that'll be enough to carry Mickey into the top 10?
Well, that's because I just said that, yes, because just for the simple fact that the winner of the match, the world title match, they'll basically have 2 wins, and the loser will have a win and a loss next week, basically. So I see both of them being in the top 10.
I think it depends on Mickey's performance because we've seen in the past, sometimes in tag team matches or in multi-person matches, sometimes maybe 1 or 2 people of the winning team make it onto the power rankings while the third person doesn't.
And I could also
with Heath.
With what? With Heath?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago when Heath and Tommy won that tag match, and Tommy was the only one that got ranked.
And okay. I can honestly see Mickey winning, and if that's the case, Trinity will definitely be on the countdown, the top 10 still, just because she's a former champion who had a great run. You know what I mean? But again, even though the Machine Guns don't have a match on the show, on the Go Home show, I see them both winning their matches, and I see them being number one next week. I don't see any. They're both retaining. One I'm a little more unsure of than the other one. I think Sabin retaining is more a sure thing. But Shelly, I'm 70% sure he's retaining.
I have to agree with you, Burt. I think Sabin for sure is retaining. However, I'm not entirely sure about Shelly. I'm not 100% sure he's going to retain. I'm more like 50-50.
I'm going Shelly retains. If there's one that wins and one that loses, if you're telling me that and I have to choose which one I think would happen, I would say Shelly winning and Sabin losing would be the more likely. I won't like it, but that'll be more likely. If I would imagine so.
Can I give you a under the radar person that could take top 2 next week? That could take, top 3. If Mike Bailey beats Samurai Del Sol, which could easily be the match that I've Impact, And if he beats Will Ospreay, which easily could be the match tonight at Bound for Glory, could Mike Bailey be top 3? I think so.
I would cap him out at top 5, but I see the journey that you're on, because those are 2 really strong wins that could do a lot of good for your ranking status.
Yeah.
Oh, and real quick, Kenny King is first Heath on Impact. So, because you said Heath, and I just noticed that. It's a lot of matches on the Go Home show.
I have to say, I agree with Kenny King. He never got his obligated rematch, his contractual rematch.
Never.
So I agree with him.
Well, and I'm surprised that Crazy Steve and Tommy Dreamer aren't listed for Bound for Glory, because those are both 2 people who have digital media champion title shots. So,
aren't they after Bound for? Aren't they listed?
Yeah, they're happening at Fallout.
Okay, so
thank God.
But yeah, so I think that there is a lot of. Wait, what'd you say? Thank God, that you said.
You know how Lucha feels about Tommy Dreamer. Did you not see his reaction last week when Tommy Dreamer got ranked?
That's what made me a little upset about. I forget what they called him who helped Dango win, but I'm like, people are like, the announcers are like, who is it? I'm like, why is that? I didn't understand.
Why is that?
Why is that? What is the crowd seemed pretty dead for that moment.
Because it was like, bro, who the fuck are you? It's like, oh shit, it's Vladimir Kozlov.
Yeah. But I think the realistic bet, just real quick, Mike Bailey got capped off at like number 5. But yeah, 2 big wins. Again, Samurai Del Sol and then Will Ospreay. And I think those could easily be match of the nights on both show.
I think if you just got a win on Will Ospreay and didn't even have that Samurai Del Sol match, that would be enough.
I just think. Oh yeah. I'm just going back to what you said at the beginning of the show with Kazarian. 2 wins, man, is always big. You know what I mean?
Like that one time that Trey Miguel had to defend against Speedbot and Jonathan Gresham, and he pinned both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah, that was big. Alrighty. So, anybody have any last comments as we get ready to wrap up?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to like look at both cards just because I'm kind of like trying to make a few predictions. You know what I'm saying? I definitely do see new tag team champions, so knockouts champs. So I definitely could see Deonna and Tasha, just based on their popularity with the rankings committee, being fairly high. I think the Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner will be very high. Also, too, just because I think it's probably going to be someone that they haven't announced yet. I'd like to see someone like Gresham win that if he does in the match, just because I want to see him kind of be elevated more into that main event scene. You know what I mean? And then in terms of just the champions that retain, I have Rascals retaining. Unfortunately, I'm a big ABC fan, but no, I like ABC though. I'm a big Chris Bay and Ace Austin fan. You know what I mean? I wouldn't hate them winning. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's ABC's time to. I don't think it's the Rascals' time to lose yet. And then, like I said, I do think there's a good chance Mickie James does win as well. So I think next week is going to be a lot of the familiar faces that will make the top 10.
I think next week's going to be really interesting in terms of who makes the power rankings, and I cannot wait for that show. I cannot wait.
I feel like the overall number 6 is going to be somebody's number 1, and there's going to be a lot of those instances.
I have a feeling we're going to get a tie at number 1. The question between who remains to be seen.
You know what's an interesting match is the Monsters Ball match between PCO, Rhino, Macklin, and Moose, just because I think Moose is going to win, but I think Moose will probably win, but Macklin needs the win. You know what I mean? And I think if Macklin gets the win, because Moose at the end of the day still has a world championship briefcase. You know what I mean? he's still getting a world championship shot. He doesn't need the win. You know what I mean? The win doesn't make him like lose his shot. You know, so I think Macklin needs this win to get. Oh yeah.
I think Moose would definitely win, even though I would want Steve Macklin to win.
And wait a minute, real quick. Do you think? Okay. So to both of you, is Trinity retaining?
Yes.
I think so.
Is Shelly retaining?
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure, but I would think so. Look, don't get me wrong. I like Josh Alexander. I feel bad that he had to relinquish the world title, and that it went down the way it did. I totally feel that. But I don't think I don't know if they would give him the belt so soon coming back, you know? I think that maybe they'll kind of do like a little bit of Bound for Glory 2021 where he'll lose and he has to like maybe work his way back to the title. I don't think I would think that that's what they would do, but I don't know.
Well, then see, there's more. They can do way more with him not winning, and then a slow heel turn, especially if they bring back like a heel Team Canada or like a new Team Canada. But I think there's more with him like not working his way back up as a face again, just because we've seen that. But I think him almost as a heel, like when they were like in the North, like I think he could be a heel. I want to see him as a heel, and come back and. Because, I just don't – I think that there's more with that storyline that way. I just don't think if he wins, then where do we go? I think a lot of the people that are there right now, I think it's too soon that we've already seen those matchups. You know what I mean? So I don't think he wins.
The only way I would be okay with Josh winning is if he's got like a short reign and he drops it to like Macklin. But we already saw Josh versus Macklin without the belt, you know, so – I'm leaning more towards Alex Shelley retaining, but I'm not entirely confident that he will. I'm not sure, you know, but I think that he should retain.
I'm 60-40 that Shelley retains.
Yeah.
If Jordan wins the call, you're 60-40 that he retains?
Yeah.
Okay. I could also just see too at this point, just because Shelley's more of the heel at this point, them going full heel with them and having to cheat to win, like Josh almost has him beat, and Shelley, you know what I mean? So, and it's not like Josh will get another rematch after that. So then you can kind of like have Josh have to, go away not go away, but
I don't think
you got to get the main event scene for now.
Yeah.
I think about what? Sorry.
You said go away, and I was like, he just came back.
No, I'm saying like not be in the main event scene because like they got to get Moose his match, and then you know what I mean. I think Josh will be the world championship, but just not world champion again, just not now.
Yeah,
they got to find a way to get this match over with him still looking strong, but like get him. They got to like not. They got to make a they just have to have a good ending in the match.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell to get notified whenever TNAIW drops a new video or when this video drops. And make sure you check out content such as
we got a lot of nonsense popping off this week in particular, ladies and germs. Y'all can check us out, of course, every Tuesdays. 7 we go live.
7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and sometime over in Krakow, Russia. Shout out. We also earlier in the day, you want to blaze up at 4:20 in the afternoon. Check us out. LOL 3NA. Last week we did the positives from Hogan era, and this week earlier we did the negatives. So you guys, check that out. And since we do have Bound for Glory coming up this weekend, this Saturday, that means one thing and one thing only, and that's the return of the main show. The big show.
So, well, it's the big bad show tonight.
Oh, join me and Jeff 8 p.m. Eastern live on the Twittity Ditch, twitch.tv/TNAIW channel. Come, kick it with the boys and whoever may join in on us, and just, shoot the shit from Bound for Glory, whatever happened, good or bad. Hopefully me and Jeff like the opening video package. Go check out throwback content, TNA 2K series. Y'all go check that out. We getting stuff cooking for more 2K coming. Y'all go check out Talking Bloody Nonsense with the homie Craig and Nixon. Shout out to the loves. Check out the TBN chats. Remember, since they're going to be in the UK coming up, you never know who they've talked to that might pull up. So if you want to be in the know with like people and like backstories, y'all go check all those out. Check out everything. Check out the first video that they ever did on this damn channel before any of us was here.
Which I was going to say, you guys need a tag team tournament for the 2K series or whatever. You need a tag. But I was thinking out of my head, like, you might have to do like a fan voting unless you're going to include both, because like, who would you include if you only had to pick one of them? Who would you put in there? America's Most Wanted or Beer Money? I knew you knew this were coming. Who would you put if you had to only put one of them? Because I remember what you said last week that I need to go back and because I just got Impact Plus, so I'm going to go back and watch the America's Most Wanted run because you said I need to go back and watch it to appreciate it. Because I would put Beer Money as of now, but I haven't watched it yet, America's Most Wanted, so maybe I'll have a different opinion.
You're telling me I gotta pick one. I'm going America's Most Wanted
because it's your tournament. Would you put both teams or no?
No, because if you say it comes down to it's America's Most Wanted versus Beer Money in the finals, I don't have two different Bobby Roodes that I could use. It would only let me pick one. So just to get through that, we would have to pick one.
Okay.
And if you got me making the call, I'm going America's Most Wanted.
Okay.
And to make up for not having Beer Money, I would then do Dirty Heels, Aries, and Rude.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. That's a good point too. I think the Machine Guns would probably win the whole thing, but that's just me.
Wow, not going for the Rascals. That's crazy.
I know, and he's a rascal. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll see you guys next week. Should be an interesting week as we are going to be combining the Go Home Show and Bound for Glory. So we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.
Goodbye.